News from the street, 919fm.com. Here's what's happening.
Good afternoon, I am Chanel Webb with the news on the street, 919 FM and online, Facebook, YouTube and Instagram. In the headlines, Prime Minister writes to Kamala on anti-crime talk session. A cop killed in ambush outside Minimart, gun stolen. Column Ember to discuss demand for foreign exchange. A mom dies in drive-by, an 8-year-old and a male friend injured. And internationally, US and Iran to swap detainees after $8 billion unfrozen. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is hoping to move on to crime talks by the next fortnight. Dr. Rowley indicated this in a September 16 letter penned to Prasad Bisesa on the Crime Caucus effort. His invitation was based on the two leaders' desire to put the national interest first. The letter states, I invite you as leader of the opposition to participate in the following exercise, which is aimed at exploring the options available to us as parliamentarians to address the matter of safety and security of the population of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. I would like to receive from you in writing your proposal, which you believe are worthy of bipartisan discussions between the government and the opposition. Dr. Rowley proposed 4-person teams, each from the government and opposition, to discuss the initiatives proposed as guided by a crafted agenda formed from the joint submissions, which he anticipated would be in hand within a fortnight. A special reserve police officer has been shot and killed. Charles Kublal Singh, who was on extended leave, was shot once in the chest with a 12-gauge shotgun less than 3 minutes after leaving his home on Saturday night. His attacker then stole his gun and car. The police said the 56-year-old had requested leave from duty after he became a witness in a murder case where one of his then superiors was charged. That matter is still ongoing. Kublal Singh, who lived at Jackson Street, Kirap, was granted a firearm user's license due to threats he reported to his colleagues after he became a witness in the case. The incident occurred around 8:03 p.m. on Saturday. Police said Kublal Singh was returning to his silver Toyota Fielder wagon parked along Woodford Street after purchasing an item at a nearby Minimart. While walking back to the car, however, a gunman approached and shot him in the chest. He then took Kublal Singh's Glock 45 pistol and his car. The car was later found abandoned in Maracas, St. Joseph. We'll be right back.
Since they were on sale, Laura bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? You'd better come and satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Wow Bucket. 7 pieces of chicken and 4 regular sides for $115. A finger-licking good deal.
The Bagel after freeness is more speed and better TV. Get a free Samsung smartphone and free installation plus 200 megabits per second, Paramount Plus, and more for only $299 with a select 200 plan from Flow. Visit online at discoverflow.co today.
Welcome back. In more news, Finance Minister Colum Imbert has said the foreign exchange challenges currently faced in the country are not simply rooted in a supply shortage, but rather an unprecedented surge in demand. And that demand, according to Imbert, is fueled in part by an explosion in online shopping over the last several years. Finance Minister Colum Imbert says he would hold discussions in the near future with the central bank, the commercial banks, and the business community to discuss the causes and effect of increased demand for foreign exchange. Imbert said the issue was not only about the availability of foreign exchange this year compared to previous years, but also one of demand. He pointed to statistics that show in 2023 the sales of foreign exchange to the public for the first 8 months of the year is 26.8% higher than the same period in 2021 and 4.3% higher than the same period in 2019. Imbert said there are several reasons for the increased demand, including the growth in the economy, which he says is driving this increased demand as businesses seek to expand their operations and import equipment and raw materials and finished products. He also said there has been an explosion in online shopping over the last several years, which is driving up the usage of the US dollar denominated credit cards as consumers take advantage of the availability of cheaper goods overseas. Now heading over to Shanaka Phipps with the sports news.
Thank you, Chanel Webb. Good day, I am Shanaka Phipps with your sports report. In today's headlines, TKR loses to Guyana. Pollard says useful exercise. And internationally, France star Paul Pogba provisionally suspended after drug test. At the top of our sports news, Guyana Amazon Warriors beat Trinbago Knight Riders by 6 wickets on Saturday in a match between the two favorites in the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League at Providence Stadium, Guyana. It was Guyana's second win over TKR this season and their final meeting ahead of Wednesday's playoff clash between the same teams. Guyana and TKR already had secured the top 2 spots in the standings, but Saturday's victory ensured Guyana would finish as number 1. The winner on Monday will advance to Sunday's final, while the loser will have another chance of reaching the final on Friday against the winner of the eliminator between the 3rd and 4th place teams.
Sifa's limited participation and caused problems, but this year I find he's played the shot. And Hattie isn't trying to overhit the ball, more outside off stump. He missed his length, looking for maybe that one. Some of these strokes, it's not about power. It really has to be and the leg spinner tailing away from him, drew him down the Amazon Warriors.
Further into sports, coming out of the losing end against Guyana Amazon Warriors on Saturday night, Trinbago Knight Riders skipper Karen Pollard said he and his team got what they wanted from the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League fixture and are now focused on the qualifier on Wednesday when they will face the same opponents. Apart from bragging rights, Saturday's game had little in it for the teams who each approached it with different strategies. TKR rested most of their key players for the encounter, having already secured their place in Wednesday's playoff on the back of 3 consecutive wins at home. We'll be right back.
Yes, folks, we get you ready for one of the biggest Juve ever to hit Westside Chagamas. Get ready as the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard presents Juve by the Sea. It's all going down Saturday, 23rd of September. That's the day before the holiday from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. at the All-Weather Facility, Westside Chagaramas. It's a cooler edition, so get those coolers ready. Look out for beans, powder, and water. What's a party with water without the big man in the business? Neil Iwer George. The Water Lord is coming to Juve by the Sea. Neil Iwer George. Also be entertained by an all-star DJ cast. Look out for Kevin X, $1 Million Song, Simply Smooth, and yours truly, the Vibes God DJ Star. We coming to shake that Orax facility.
Since they were on sale, Laura bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? You'd better come and satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Wow Bucket, 7 pieces of chicken and 4 regular sides for $115. A finger-licking good deal.
And welcome back. Internationally, some of your favorites, France and Juventus star Paul Pogba has been provisionally suspended after testing positive for a banned substance, Italy National Anti-Doping Tribunal said. In a statement Monday, Nadu Italia said the testosterone, which can be used to increase athletic endurance, was detected in the midfielder system. Juventus confirmed, in a statement that Pogba had been provisionally suspended. The test, the club said, it took place on August 20th. Juventus beat Udinese 3-0 that day, with Pogba on the bench as an unused substitute.
And Pogba will face a hearing with the National Anti-Doping Tribunal in Italy unless he admits to taking a banned substance. If found guilty, he faces a ban of up to 2 years. But if it's proven that he took the substance intentionally, the suspension could increase as high as 4 years. Testosterone is a hormone which increases an individual's endurance.
Pogba's agent Pimenta said in a statement, "We are waiting for the encounter analysis, and until then, we cannot say anything." What is certain in Paul Pogba's never wanted to break the rules, Pimenta said. Pogba must now wait for the result of the B sample. If found guilty of doping, he may face a suspension between 2 and 4 years. And that's all for your sports today. I am Chanaka Phipps. Do have a marvelous Monday. Now back to you, Chanel.
And more news. An 8-year-old boy was shot in the back in a shooting incident in Couva on Saturday evening, which resulted in the death of a 45-year-old woman. According to police, Denise Mendoza from Coconut Boulevard in Pleasantville was fatally shot at about 6:20 p.m. in the vehicle which was proceeding along Lisa's Boulevard in Couva. Mendoza was a mother of 3. Police reported that she was in a Toyota Fila along with a boy and a 48-year-old man when near Tony's Grill House, a silver Nissan 80 wagon pulled up next to them. The occupants of the wagon then opened fire on the car. The driver of the Fielder pulled to the side, and the police and the paramedics were notified. A team of officers from the Central Division and Homicide Bureau responded. All 3 of the injured were taken to Couva District Hospital, but Mendoza died shortly after 8 p.m. The man was shot multiple times to his torso. He and the boy were both stabilized and transferred to the San Fernando General Hospital. The boy was then sent to Eric Williams Medical Science Complex, Mount Hope, for further observation. We now head on over to Kyle Cumberbatch with the weather report.
Audio Jungle.
Thank you, Chanel. Today will predominantly be hot and sunny despite the isolated showers. There is a low chance of odd heavier showers or thunderstorms favoring western and hilly areas of Trinidad and Tobago during the evening. The night will mostly be fair. We are currently experiencing a yellow level hot spell, so walk with your umbrellas and waters and keep hydrated. Last night's minimum temperature was 25.1 degrees Celsius in Piaco, and in Crown Point 26.5 degrees Celsius. Today's max forecasted temperature is 34 degrees Celsius in Piaco, and in Crown Point 33 degrees Celsius. Waves may vary from 1 meter to 1.5 meters and occasionally up to 2 meters in the leewards in open waters, but below 1 meter in sheltered areas. Thank you. My name is Kyle Cumberbatch. That was your weather report on the Street 919 FM, and back to you, Chanel.
Audio Jungle.
Now internationally, Iran and the United States have been informed that US $6 billion in frozen Iranian funds were transferred to accounts in Qatar, a source said, triggering a carefully choreographed swap on Monday of 5 detainees between each of the 2 arch foes. Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Nasser Khani said the funds, which had been frozen in South Korea, would be in Iran's possession on Monday, so the deal mediated by Qatar during months of talks could go ahead. There was no immediate public U.S. comment. Both parties have been notified by Qatar that all U.S. $6 billion has been transferred from Switzerland to a bank account in Qatar. The source briefed on the matter told Reuters. A Qatari aircraft is waiting on standby in Iran, waiting to fly 5 soon-to-be-released citizens and 2 relatives to Doha on Monday morning. Under the deal, the 5 Americans with dual nationality are expected to leave Tehran and head to Qatar's capital Doha, and then fly from there to the United States. In return, 5 Iranian detainees in the U.S. will be released. The Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson said 2 would return to Iran, while 2 would stay in the U.S. at their request. 1 detainee would join his family, and a third in a third country, he added. The deal, first made public on August 10th, will remove a major irritant between Washington and Tehran, although these two sides remain deeply at odds over issues ranging from Iran's nuclear ambitions and its influence around the region to U.S. sanctions and America's military presence in the Gulf.
Iran announced Monday that 5 detained Americans are expected to be released today. They include Imad Shargi, Siamak Namazi, Murad Tabaz, and 2 Americans whose names are being withheld. For the first time since 2015, 51-year-old Siamak Namazi would be free. He spent the past 8 years in the notorious Evin prison in Iran on what the U.S. State Department considers trumped-up charges of espionage. Shargi and Tabaz were arrested in 2018. All are considered wrongfully detained. In exchange, Iran says charges against 5 Iranians in the U.S. will be dropped. 2 will remain in the U.S. The Biden administration reached a tentative deal in August, but the final pieces only came together in recent days. The money traveled from South Korea to Switzerland and then into a monitored bank account in Qatar, a deal the White House has repeatedly defended.
This is not a payment of any kind. It's not ransom. These aren't U.S. taxpayer dollars. And we haven't lifted a single one of our sanctions on Iran.
The U.S. Treasury will monitor the money and restrict its use to humanitarian purposes. But Iran's president, whose country is badly in need of economic relief, dismissed any limits.
The Islamic Republic of Iran will decide to spend it wherever we need it.
Republican Mike Turner, chair of the House Intelligence Committee, is concerned the financial relief will incentivize future hostage-taking.
I mean, whenever you put a price on American heads, you get an incentive for people to take more hostages.
These are $6 billion in frozen oil revenue.
Billions and billions of dollars, and so that's a concern.
Now, Biden administration officials described the 5 Iranians who would be released as nonviolent offenders who mainly violated sanctions. And I spoke with one of them who is remaining here in the U.S., Kaveh Lotfallah Afrasiabi, a political scientist charged with acting as an unregistered foreign agent. He is a U.S. permanent resident and tells CBS News he'll remain living in Massachusetts. Nate?
Margaret, thank you.
Recapping the headlines. The Prime Minister writes to Kamala on anti-crime talk session. A cop killed in ambush outside a mini-mart, gun stolen. Imbert to discuss demand for foreign exchange. Mom dies in drive-by, 8-year-old and male friend injured. And internationally, U.S. and Iran to swap detainees after $8 billion unfrozen. Good afternoon, I am Chanel Webb, and that was the news on the street 919 FM.
News from the street. News from the street. 919fm.com.